Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the open mic stage right here at the awesome pub located in Snellville, Georgia. Snellville. So that's what I'm talking about. Join me, put your hands together for Mohammed. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I am not singing any songs tonight, so you can go ahead and pray to whatever God you do and thank him for that. All right, I need to talk about something. My name is Muhammad Ali, yes. I am black and white. People get me confused. I get Mexicans coming up to me speaking Spanish. People coming up to me trying to guess what race I am. People argue over it after I tell them what I am, and then they argue, no, he looks more Latino. No, he looks Middle Eastern. Well, I'm black and white, and I grew up in West Virginia. And if you guys don't know anything about West Virginia, it's Hickville, kind of. Almost heaven. Because Mary wasn't God's sister, so that's why it wasn't fully heaven. But no, in school, you look at the yearbook and you can see a dark smudge up in the corner, and that's me, out of everybody else. And I'm sure the photographer was saying, what, something on my camera lens? And it's a little stressful because the kids would always be like, looking at me like, what the hell is he? Like, they didn't understand the color scheme and what was going on. I didn't even meet my first black person until I moved down here to Georgia. So it was light up there. Now, my parents are divorced, and I have a stepfather, and he's white, and my mom's white. And when I was a little kid, we'd go to the mall or the store, and they wouldn't get me what I wanted. So, you know, I'm this color, they're both white. So I'd start telling people that they're kidnapping me. And it would be believable because the color doesn't match. It was a little cruel, yeah. Had to sit in mall security a couple times. But, you know, I got out of that and my parents forgave me. Also, when people come up and speak another language to you, it gives you an idea to like, I can get out of a lot of stuff like this. So when my boss starts yelling at me at work, and I work in construction, so it's not the same boss all the time. So boss starts coming up yelling at me, and I say, ¿Qué? No hables inglés. And he buys it. He buys it because I look Hispanic. And he's got no idea that I know English at all. And he's just, whatever, man. Also, a good thing is, I have like a white person's voice. So on the phone, people are a little bit more trusting, and then I can tell they weren't expecting it when I meet them in real life, and they're like, what the hell? And it gets me out of, being black and white, you can kind of flip roles, so I can be black, man. Or I can be super white, and don't pull me over, Mr. Police Officer. So if a police officer does happen to pull me over, I turn down the rap, turn on the Alanis Morissette, and I put on my little bow tie, and I'm like, how are you doing this evening, officer? License and registration. And I get away scot-free. I actually have those settings on my radio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says cops, black friends, white friends. And, you know, being multiracial is very, very helpful in life situations. I blow some people away. I can pretty much pretend to be just about anything. I can be Middle Eastern. People ask questions. They're always in my family tree. I swear to God, people are always on ladders climbing in my family tree. Where are you from? Arizona. Where's your dad from? South Carolina. Where's your mom from? And it just goes on, and it's like, I want you to say that you're from Iraq or Afghanistan or Brazil or something. I'm like, no, I'm not from those places. And they try to dig deep. They're like, your great-grandparents, where'd they come from? They came over on the Amistad, I guess, from Africa. I'm not really sure. And so, pretty much, well, back to West Virginia. That place was crazy. Our friends, quote unquote, their parents didn't really like us hanging out with their kids. Their kids didn't really understand the color scheme that was going on. I got called zebra, panda bear, everything that was black and white. They're like, and then I moved down here to Georgia, and I got a little briefing from my neighbor. And he was like, hey, y'all the new neighbors over here? I was 13, so I never had someone come up and talk to me like that. Usually my parents were like, don't talk to strangers, but he was my next door neighbor, so it was okay, I guess. And he was like, hey, come here, let me tell you something. I know up in West Virginia the law is if you get divorced, you're still brother and sister, but down here, you're gonna be cousins, all right? And I was 13 and I was like, what is this guy talking about? Like, get out of my face. But anyway, going to school down here too was easier because there was more of the mixture and everything, but do you ever realize that you're just like your parents? Anybody ever realize that at all? Yeah? Well, the other day I realized I was just like my mom. She's like, close that cabinet door! And I was like, why is she yelling that? And then a few days later I was like, oh, who's got this cabinet door open? I'm gonna hit my head on it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just like my mother. She turned me into a grammar Nazi. Everyone hates me because I'm correcting their English. Can't finish a sentence with preposition, and then I turn around and hear my mom say it, I'm like, oh, jeez, what is wrong with me? Psychologically inept. But I'm gonna leave you with one more thing. Speaking about my mother, I posted a picture on Instagram, and I'm friends with her on Instagram. And it was a picture of me at a bachelor party, and I was doing a jello shot out of a stripper's hoo-haws, and my mother commented and said, hey, that reminds me of when you used to do milk shots out of my breast. Oh. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for listening.
Put your hands together for Muhammad Ali. Still undefeated.